So as you can see here, I have a HPI Savage X. I've just gone and picked this up, got it off eBay in a deal with a Hyper 7. So this is a Savage X 4.62 speed without reverse, with sold as spares and repairs. It has the 4.6 engine, has the standard exhaust, didn't come with that bit. It's missing the top of the radio tray, but it's got both the throttle servo and the steering servo. The steering servo is not attached underneath, the linkage isn't on. I have just brushed it off because it did have a little bit of dirt, a little bit of dust on it. But yeah, other than that I haven't really cleaned it up much yet. It's got some rust on it, but it doesn't look like it's been destroyed too much. You can see underneath there the skids aren't massively scraped up or anything, which isn't too bad. Also came with a body shell, wheels and tyres, which I'll just go get quickly and show you. So there we go, that is the shell. I have washed it off, so it's not looking too bad, but it's not in too bad condition. It's got a couple of scrapes and cracks on it, but to be honest, it is in really good condition, considering it's a Savage and these things tend to get destroyed. So that is the shell. A few drips came off that there. It's still a bit wet. These are the wheels and tyres. So we've got the chrome wheels with the standard Savage tyres. Obviously all four of those. Just pan the camera, there we go. So we've got all four of those, and the wheel nuts are just off camera as well. So what the plan is with this is basically just to strip it back, do it up as a bit of a project, and then sell it on really. I might do some running versus the Hyper MT and maybe do a bit of a comparison. Fuel tank doesn't have any body clips holding it on, but they're fairly easy. The one thing I can't do at the moment is start it, because it has got a rotor start back plate on. I don't know if you can see through there, probably not, but it has got a rotor start back plate on, so I will need a drill start, but they're fairly easy to get. The air filter looks okay. The clutch bell's a little bit rusty. If I just bring it up to the camera here, you might be able to see a little bit better. Let me just get a light on there. So yeah, you can't really see underneath the air filter there, but the clutch bell is a little bit rusty. It's got a glow plug in as well. The engine is stuck at the moment, so I'm hoping it's stuck at the top rather than seized, so I'm going to have to strip that down, take it apart and see what happens. Anyway, I'll just quickly show you the Hyper 7 and then I'll get stripping this down. So this is the Hyper 7. You can see it's got a non-standard engine right from the get-go. This is a 8-port engine, 21 size, 3.5cc, and it's got a tuned pipe on it, but it has unfortunately got one of these silicone couplers for the exhaust. The shocks still have oil in them, although they are extremely soft, so they need some more preload spacers or some different springs. It looks in pretty good condition other than the air filter, which looks awful. Let me just move the camera a bit here. There we go. So you can see it's got both servos installed, which they both work fine. And it's got a decent set of wheels and tyres. Now it has got pillow balls, which I didn't know you could get for a Hyper 7. I think they did a Hyper 7 PBS, maybe that's what this is. But anyway, it should be pretty quick with the 8-port engine, but it does need a starter box to start it, which I haven't got at the moment, but we'll see about that when we come to it. I'm going to strip this down and clean it all up as well, but it looks pretty good. It's got no body, but look at the chassis. It's got hardly any scratches on it whatsoever, so I don't think it's been used very much, and if it has, it must have been on road, so that's a good sign. The engine on this one moves very freely, very nice and smooth, so that's good. I can spin the flywheel fairly easy, although I don't want to turn it over, because obviously I need to put some oil in it and stuff. Anyway, that's the Hyper 7, no body shell, decent wheels and tyres, but I'm going to sort that out later. I'm going to do the Savage first. So yeah, that's it for this one. So there we go, that's the back end off the Savage. How many screws is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, no, actually 11, 12, 13 screws to get the Savage out, or to get the back end off, sorry. And there are those 2 clips holding the bumper on. I haven't worked on a Savage in quite a while, so yeah, that was interesting. I can pretty much work out how to take it apart though, because it's fairly simple. There's the engine. I've got the fuel tank out as well, because obviously that wasn't clipped in. Taking the fuel tubing off everything apart from the end at the carburettor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this back end outside and just brush it off, because it's extremely dirty inside here. So I'll just brush it off with a stiff brush before I clean it properly with a toothbrush. I'll probably put the plastics in a bucket of soap, strip it all down, put the plastics in a bucket of soap to soak overnight, and then wash them off properly tomorrow. But yeah, that was fairly simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this middle bit and the front bit away, and literally just focus on tearing down the back. So I've just taken it outside and brushed off the worst of the dirt, so it's looking a little bit cleaner now. Obviously I still need to strip it all down and stuff. This rear skid plate part and rear bumper was all filled with mud, so that's all nice and clean now. Oops. As you can see there, it's pretty good. Metal plate holds everything together quite nicely. Then this is the rear end. I've just taken the pins out for the upper arms, which you can see there. They're not too bad, they're not too rusty at all. The centre or gearbox to rear drive shaft was covered in mud. Not as rusty as I expected, so that's pretty good. So what I'm going to do tonight, because it's getting quite late now, is I'm just going to take basically the arms off here and concentrate, maybe take the shock tower off and then call it a day. I'll carry on tomorrow. I'll also clean the shocks up a bit as well. Spray them with some WD-40 and wipe them down with a brush. So yeah, I'm going to carry on, get the arms off. Just need to take some pins out, 2 more bolts, 2 more pins. Those should come off. I think the shock tower is maybe 4 or 5 screws, so it's pretty easy to take apart is this. So there we go, got that bit apart, got either side off, and the bulkhead and shock tower are now separate from the arms as well. And I've cleaned off the drive shafts, they don't look too bad actually. As you can see there, they've got a little bit of rust on them, but overall they're nowhere near as bad as they looked. Hinge pins look good, top hinge pin brace looks alright. I only needed to take out the bottom hinge pins and 2 bolts to get the arms and the hubs off. So that's where I'm going to leave it for today, and I'll start back on this tomorrow, stripping both sides down and the tower when I have a bit more time. So I think that's it for this bit. Goodbye.